Robert Kennedy has elevated conspiracy theorists, crackpots, and grifters to make life or death decisions about the health care of the American people.
You are citing data that you won't produce to the public.
You're just
and you are rejecting
You're
science.
making things up to scare people, and it's a lie.
On behalf of parents and schools and teachers all over the United States of America who deserve so much better than your leadership.
Democrats in Maha meltdown mode, turning HHS Secretary RFK Jr.'s hearing into a full-on shouting match as he accuses them of letting our country become the sickest one in the world.
Health and Human Services Secretary RFK Jr. joins us now. Sir, thank you for being with us. I thought, frankly, you got treated horribly in that hearing, and I think it was a disservice to the American people because they would benefit from learning about some of the answers you had to those questions. Will you please talk about that hearing and why folks who have presided over so many decades in rise of chronic illness could sit there and say those words to you?
Well, I mean, I've come to realize that those hearings are performative. They're theater. And, you know, they're not the kind of debate or open conversation that democracy would give us at its ideal. And then all of those senators are taking hundreds of thousands of dollars, including, in some cases, millions of dollars from the pharmaceutical industry. So they don't want to hear the answers to the questions that they ask me. They want to make a little speech and then shut me down. But they can't deny the fact that we did worse than COVID, that the CDC is a broken agency. We did worse in COVID than any country in the world. We have 4.2% of the world's population. We have 20% of the world's COVID deaths. We literally we're the worst team in the league. I've been brought in as the new manager, and my job is to shake up the organization, to fire the people who were responsible for masking our children with no science, for social distancing orders with no science, or all the other things, for all of the other things that they try, for closing our schools at the behest of the teachers union and hurting workers all over America. Right. These were bad. We literally did worse than any country in the world, and it was because we forgot about the science. And what we're going to do, what the Trump administration is going to do, is to return gold standard science and make this agency the lead agency for public health in the world once again.
Yeah, it's a really tall task to do that, to restore that trust back into public health, because as you pointed out so well, they want us to forget what they did during COVID. And, it was such a watershed moment for the American people to realize how compromised so many of our leaders in health were. You wrote an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal. You said we're restoring public trust in the CDC, the agency's COVID failure systems, from politicized science, bureaucratic inertia, and mission creep. They're also criticizing you for firing some people. One of them was the previous CDC director of immunizations, somebody who was a self-proclaimed Satanist and had a really, strange lifestyle. But more importantly, was responsible for so many of these decisions. Can you talk to that?
Yeah, that individual actually came to my attention because early on during the measles outbreak, I promised Governor Abbott to send some money down, badly needed money, and help down to Texas. And this individual blocked that money for a month. I couldn't figure out what's happening. I gave the order. I'm running this agency. How come nothing's happening? And then we tried to get the vaccine safety data link, which is the data that supposedly the CDC tries to use to make good decisions on whether vaccines are hurting people and not whether there are side effects. For 7 months, he stonewalled us so that we could not get that data. He's also the individual that runs the VAERS system, which is the surveillance system for injuries, that captures, according to CDC's own study, fewer than 1% of vaccine injuries. This is malpractice. These people are the people who ordered our children to walk around in masks. They're the people who closed our schools. They're the people who imposed social distancing with no science, shut down our businesses, and they need to go. We need new blood, and we need new people who are committed to public health and integrity and gold standard science. And the Trump administration is going to make sure that happens.
You know, Secretary, you've been a part of politics for a long time, and you've been part of the MAHA movement before the MAHA movement became the MAHA movement. It's kind of a remarkable moment in time to have you in this post at HHS. And, you know, when you look back, what would you say is the last great success that our government public health agencies have had?
Well, I don't think there have been successes. I think we've seen a 30 or 40-year decline in the agency because, you know, it's been infiltrated by the pharmaceutical companies. And they've made a series of bad decisions. And we saw the bad decisions during the opioid crisis. We saw the product of agency capture when they teamed up with the industry and with doctors, with the medical community to promote these products. And now, you know, that launched a tsunami of addiction in our country. This has happened again and again. And what we want to do now is put an end to it, to end those entanglements, those corrupting entanglements with the pharmaceutical industry, and make this again a gold standard science agency that is protecting the American public and not the profits of big pharma.
Mr. Secretary, there's been a lot of speculation about the upcoming autism report and supposed links between Tylenol and autism. You know, I know that HHS has been warning about not speculating on that. Could you just clarify where you are in the process and how the public should be interpreting things they're hearing about Tylenol or anything else with this report right now?
Yeah, I mean, we'll be making announcements, and these are all preliminary announcements. You know, we are trying to get the information to the public as soon as we have it. There are years and years of studies about that we are looking at today for the first time, and we're finding a number of different indicators, a number of different signals. But until those, and as soon as we have enough information to give to the public with confidence, we are going to do that. But anything that happens, any speculation about what's in those reports at this point is speculative.
Yeah, well, listen, I commend you for even broaching the subject of vaccines and autism and Tylenol, and is it some combination of both? We don't know. You're doing the studies. That's all everybody's asking for. Stop with these taboo subjects. Parents experienced a lot of bad things that happened after vaccines, and they want answers to why their child went from being perfectly healthy to now, you know, being in a diaper at 30 years old. I mean, we know these cases have happened, and we appreciate that you at least are willing to do the studies. I want to move to another topic that the left does not want to talk about, and it is the 300,000 and plus children who have been lost by the Biden administration when they came over the border. And sometimes we talk about it and we forget, like, what that must be like to be a child all by yourself in the hands of a criminal cartel. And then you get handed over to, if you're lucky, to, you know, to Border Patrol. And then this system comes and takes you and loses you and hands you over to people who don't even know you and traffic you. I want to show this video. This is a little boy who was found in the desert, abandoned by the cartels, who decided they didn't want to care about him anymore. And our Border Patrol found him. Watch.
¿Puede ayudar? ¿Qué pasó? Es que yo venía con un grupo de personas y me dejaron botar y no sé dónde están.
¿No sabes dónde están? ¿Te dejaron solo?
Pues claro, me dejaron botar. ¿Dónde me voy a ir? Allí voy a dejar. Y tal vez me pueden robar, secuestrar o algo.
¿Te pueden robar?
Miedo.
¿Tienes miedo? Ok.
Sí.
Ahorita hablamos, ¿ok?
By the way, Secretary, that boy's parents, his father or uncle or whoever, was found eventually in Florida, and they reunited him where no American parent would be reunited with their child if they had left their kid in the hands of cartels to cross over a dangerous desert. But let's put that aside. Your agency is finding these children. What are you discovering?
Well, what we've discovered is there was 476,000 unaccompanied children who were lost during the Biden administration. The Biden administration put speed over safety because before coming into office, they had accused the Trump administration, the previous Trump administration, of putting kids in cages. So they wanted to show, above all things, that they were getting the kids out of the cages, so they were not doing security checks on the people who came to pick them up, and they were not doing DNA testing, they were not doing fingerprinting, they were not doing income verification, they were not even doing identification. They sent 42 kids to one address, people who claimed to be their parents. They were sending kids to parking lot addresses that had, just had a container in it. We've now we've stopped that. We're doing income verification. We're doing DNA testing, fingerprinting on everybody who comes in and says that they're a parent. We are knocking on doors trying to find the kids who are lost. We've knocked on about 82,000 doors. Following leads, we've recovered about 22,000 kids, and we're going to keep doing that for the next 3.5 years and try to find every kid that was lost.
God bless you for doing that. God bless Donald Trump for making good on that promise that he would help to locate them. Sadly, some are lost forever and some have died, but we appreciate your efforts.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.